Deep down, I can already predict how this will play out. I can practically hear her response now. But Harry, that's different. You can't compare financial contributions to housework. This isn't what I meant by equality. Hi, I'm Laura. It's funny how much your perspective can change in just a few years. A while ago, I never would have imagined myself feeling so strongly about feminism and equality in relationships. But here I am, and it's been quite a journey to get here. It all started about 3 years ago. I was browsing online, trying to pass the time between classes and my part time job, when I came across an article on feminine personal growth. At first, I didn't think much of it, but something about it stuck with me. Before I knew it, I was diving headfirst into feminist literature, joining online groups, and engaging in passionate debates about gender roles and societal expectations. The more I learned, the more strongly I felt about these issues. It was like a fire had been lit inside me. One topic that especially caught my attention was unpaid domestic work. I had always been the one handling most of the house chores in our relationship, but I never questioned it. It just felt normal. But after all I'd read, I began to see things differently. I'd come home from classes or my part time job and end up cooking dinner, doing the laundry, and cleaning the apartment. Meanwhile, Harry would get home late from his real estate job, eat the meal I'd made, and unwind for the rest of the night. Don't get me wrong, I loved Harry. He's kind and supportive in many ways, but the imbalance started to eat at me. It was the mental load, too. I was the one keeping track of grocery lists, scheduling appointments, and planning meals. And I thought, why should I have to carry all this just because I work fewer hours? That's when I made a big decision. It was time for a change. Summoning all my courage, I sat Harry down for a serious conversation. I told him we needed to split the household duties equally, 50/50. I explained how I was feeling and shared my belief that real equality in a relationship means sharing responsibilities, regardless of work schedules. I was so nervous, my heart was pounding, but I also felt empowered. I was standing up for what I believed in, not just for myself, but for other women in similar situations. Harry agreed, but I could tell he wasn't thrilled. There was hesitation in his eyes and reluctance in his tone. It seemed more like he wanted to avoid an argument than fully embrace the change. That frustrated me. I was ready to revolutionize our relationship, to make it a model of equality, and Harry seemed to be going along with it reluctantly. I wanted him to see this as an opportunity to grow together, to create a stronger partnership. I get it. Change is hard. I know Harry's job is demanding. He works long hours and often comes home exhausted. Part of me felt guilty for adding to his burden, but another part of me, the part that had been awakened to these feminist ideals, stayed firm. This wasn't just about us. It was about challenging the norms society had set and showing what a truly equal partnership could look like. This is the kind of relationship I want to have and the life I want to build. I just hope Harry will see it the same way with time. I'm Harry. I've always taken pride in how hard I work. Real estate isn't just a job for me, it's a way of life. My days are packed with client meetings, property showings, negotiations, and endless paperwork. It's not just physically tiring, it's mentally draining too. By the time I get home, I'm completely wiped out. I used to think that was enough, that my contribution to our life was clear. I provided for us financially. But apparently that's not enough anymore. Laura's got this new idea about splitting everything 50/50. I understand where she's coming from. Equality is important, but it feels like the long hours I spend working don't count for anything. It's as though she doesn't see or appreciate how much I'm already giving to our relationship. I love Laura. She's smart, determined, and juggling her master's program with a part time job is impressive. But this newfound feminist awakening of hers is throwing a wrench into everything. I'm trying to meet her halfway, I really am. But balancing my demanding job with half the housework feels impossible. If I'm too exhausted to clean after a 12-hour day, I'm not pulling my weight. If I skip work to handle chores, I'm risking my career. It's frustrating. It feels like I'm being judged no matter what I do, and the resentment is starting to build. I won't lie, small things irritate me now, like when I'm washing dishes and see Laura studying on the couch. I know she's working hard too, but in those moments, all I can think is I've been on my feet all day, and now this? I'm not one to pick fights and I don't want to create conflict, so I'm doing my best to adjust. But it's tough when it feels like my best will never be enough. Then, just when things felt like they couldn't get tenser, Laura introduced her latest idea, a spreadsheet, a chore tracking spreadsheet, like we're some kind of domestic accountants. It feels controlling, like she doesn't trust me to handle my share without keeping tabs. When she first suggested it, I thought she was joking. But no, she spent an entire evening setting it up, assigning color codes and point values to each chore. As I sat there watching her, all I could think was, is this what our relationship has become? Quantifying every little thing we do for each other? Honestly, it's made things worse. Now, instead of just doing what needs to be done, I'm constantly aware of this invisible scorecard. Did I earn enough points today? Am I falling behind? I'm trying to be supportive, I really am. But this whole system is making everything so much harder. Laura is deeply invested in the concept of equality, and I genuinely want her to feel fulfilled. But this entire situation is starting to wear me down. I find myself reminiscing about the days when coming home meant unwinding, not taking on a second job, and enduring a performance review. I understand relationships require effort and evolve over time, but this doesn't feel like rebellion. I feel more like a rebellion, and I'm beginning to question whether I signed up for this particular rebellion. I care about Laura and want our relationship to succeed, but at what cost? How much of myself must I surrender before compromise turns into surrender? These are the thoughts circling in my mind as I try to adapt to this new reality. I'm doing my best to be the partner Laura envisions, but I can't shake the feeling that my own needs and contributions have been overshadowed. I believed we were making progress. Really, I did. But lately, it feels like we're regressing. Take last Tuesday, for example. I came home after an exhausting day of classes and a shift at the cafe, only to find the sink overflowing with dishes Harry had promised to clean. Not just a few plates. No, it was an entire mountain of grimy pots and pans from his culinary experiment the night before. I stood there, staring at the mess, feeling my frustration mount. Last weekend, I found a heap of Harry's dirty clothes lying next to the hamper. Not in it, mind you, but right beside it. It's as if lifting the lid is some insurmountable challenge for him. So there I was, on my hands and knees, picking up his sweaty gym socks, when I should have been working on my thesis. These might seem like trivial matters, but they accumulate, becoming a slow death by 1,000 cuts. Every unfulfilled chore, every half hearted effort to help, it all reinforces the notion that Harry doesn't truly respect or grasp the emotional load I'm shouldering. The other day, we had a heated argument. I tried, once again, to explain why sharing responsibilities equally is essential. His response? He rolled his eyes and muttered, "Yes, dear, whatever you say," like I was some stereotypical nagging wife from the 1950s. That was the last straw. I told him outright that his dismissive attitude perpetuates the very patriarchal structures I'm striving to dismantle, and it's emblematic of why women still struggle for equality. He just stood there, arms crossed, smirking in a way that made me want to scream. The most infuriating part? When he does help, he acts like he's owed a medal. Last month, he vacuumed the living room, then lounged on the couch for the rest of the day as if that one task had drained him completely. Meanwhile, I was meal prepping, doing laundry, and attempting to finish a paper. But heaven forbid I point that out. Then I'm the ungrateful one. Things reached a breaking point last night. After a particularly rough day, during which my thesis advisor tore apart my latest draft, I just wanted to come home to a tidy house and maybe a bit of comfort. Instead, I walked into chaos, clothes scattered everywhere, dishes piled high, and Harry sprawled on the couch, absorbed in a game on his phone. When I asked why he hadn't done any of the chores we'd agreed on, he lashed out, accusing me of setting unrealistic expectations and failing to appreciate his hard work in supporting us, as if my studies and part time job are merely hobbies. Is it really too much to ask for a partner who carries his weight, who understands that equality isn't just about income, but about sharing all aspects of life equally? I love Harry, truly, I do, but moments like these leave me questioning if love alone is enough. Will he ever grasp what I'm fighting for, what I need from him? And what terrifies me most is the uncertainty of the answer. Desperation calls for bold action, and I'd say our relationship has reached that critical juncture. I feel it in my gut. Our engagement, our wedding plans, they're all hanging by a thread. But before giving up entirely, I have one last idea, a sort of experiment. Laura's relentless focus on equality, housework, emotional labor, all of it, got me thinking, what if we took this equality concept to its ultimate conclusion? What if it applied to every single aspect of our lives? Here's my proposal: a completely equal arrangement. Finances, split straight down the middle, no more proportional contributions based on income. Rent, utilities, groceries, everything is divided 50/50. Sure, I earn more, but that's irrelevant. Laura's in grad school and working part time, but tough luck. Equality, right? And chores? We'll have two separate lists and alternate weekly. One week I'll tackle list A while Laura handles list B, and then we swap. No exceptions. No, that's men's work, or I can't do that excuses. True equality eliminates gender roles entirely. I can already picture Laura's reaction when I present this plan. I'll explain it plainly. If true equality is what you want, then let's implement it across the board. Why stop at housework? I'll even highlight the benefits: financial independence, a life free of outdated stereotypes. Of course, this might mean cutting back on certain luxuries or taking on additional work hours, but that's the price of equality, isn't it? Those home repairs she's been asking me to handle, they'll go on the chore list too. Fixing the leaky faucet or changing the car's oil will be just as much her responsibility as mine. Laura's objections are almost audible in my mind. But Harry, that's different. You can't compare financial contributions to housework. That's not what I meant by equality. And frankly, that's exactly what I'm banking on. If Laura recoils from this plan, if she can't accept equality when it doesn't work in her favor, then the truth will be laid bare. All this talk about fairness and equal partnership will have been nothing but empty rhetoric. I know it's a risk. This could very well be the breaking point of our relationship, but at this stage, what do we really have left to lose? If Laura genuinely believes in equality, in building a partnership where we both shoulder the responsibilities equally in every sense, then perhaps we still have a chance. But if she flatly rejects this proposal, at least I'll have clarity. No more illusions, no more sidestepping the real issues. It will be clear that what Laura wants isn't equality, it's convenience. And I'll finally have my answer about whether this relationship was ever truly meant to last. I can't believe my ears. Is Harry serious right now? One minute we're discussing dividing housework, and the next he blindsides me with this financial bombshell. What the hell? My voice rises as I demand, where is this coming from, Harry? We've always split expenses based on our earnings. That's what's fair. You can't just change the rules out of nowhere. I'm pacing now, my hands trembling. This isn't what I meant by equality at all. How dare he twist my words like this? You know I'm in grad school, I snap. You know I'm working my ass off to build a career. How is it fair to suddenly expect me to pay half of everything when you make 5 times more than I do? He just stands there, arms crossed, with that smug expression like he's caught me in some trap. Well, two can play this game. Fury is bubbling inside me. This feels like a betrayal. You're weaponizing equality against me, and you know it. This isn't about fairness. It's about you being angry because I called you out on your laziness around the house. And what's this nonsense about alternating chores? Does he really expect me to handle car maintenance and heavy lifting? That's not equality. It's absurd. Some tasks naturally suit him better, and that's just reality. Tears of frustration threaten to spill, but I blink them back. I won't give him the satisfaction. You want to talk about fairness? Fairness is recognizing that we're in different stages of life. Fairness is understanding that my lower income now is an investment in our future. Or did you forget that once I finish my degree, I'll contribute more? Harry's proposal is so extreme, so out of left field, I can hardly wrap my head around it. My voice lowers, but the anger is still evident as I say, this isn't what I meant by equality at all. I was talking about sharing the mental and physical load of running our home, not this financial ambush. Absolute savings. Exhausted, I sink onto the couch. You know what I think? You're just looking for an excuse to avoid doing your share of the work, an excuse to make me feel guilty for asking for help. Well, it's not going to work, Harry. Taking a deep breath, I meet his gaze. If you want to have a serious conversation about equality, about building a life together, I'm here for that. But this manipulative behavior, it ends now. Either we work together to find real solutions, or maybe we need to reconsider if we're truly ready for marriage. With that, I turn and leave, slamming the door behind me. My head is spinning, my heart racing. How did we even get here? How did a simple request for help around the house escalate into this ultimatum? One thing is clear. This isn't over, and I'm not giving up without a fight. Laura storms out, the door slamming behind her, and something inside me snaps. I've had enough. I follow her, my own anger rising. Oh, so now you want to talk about fairness? I call out, my tone sharp. Let's talk about fairness, Laura. Let's talk about how you've been preaching equality nonstop, but the second it doesn't work in your favor, it's suddenly extreme and unfair. Laura spins around, ready to argue, but I press on. Remember last month when my car broke down? I asked you to help change the tire because I was injured, and you said, and I quote, "That's men's work, Harry. I might break a nail. Where was your push for equality then?" I can see the shock on her face, and it's satisfying. And what about when we had to move that heavy dresser? You sat there giving me instructions because it was too heavy for you. But God forbid, I'm too tired to do the dishes after a 12-hour workday. I'm on a roll now, years of pent up frustration pouring out. You want to talk about financial fairness? Fine. Let's talk rent and bills. Who pays most of it? Me, because I earn more. But now that equality is on the table, you're clinging to proportional contributions, like it's the holy grail of fairness. Laura tries to cut in, but I hold up a hand. No, you've had your say. Now it's my turn. You accuse me of using equality as a weapon? Take a long look in the mirror, Laura. You've been wielding it like a club, using it against me whenever it's convenient, then conveniently forgetting it when it's not. I pause, taking a deep breath. For the first time, I feel a weight lifting off me. I'm done, Laura. I'm done trying to meet these impossible standards you've set. I'm done being the bad guy for working hard to provide for us. I'm done feeling guilty for being tired after a long day. And I'm done with this warped version of equality you've created. Laura looks stunned, trying to find words, but I cut her off. Save it. I don't want to hear another word about patriarchy or emotional labor or whatever buzzword you've latched onto this week. The truth is, your rigid, one sided view of equality has destroyed us, destroyed what we had. I turn toward the closet, grab my suitcase, and begin packing. Laura stands frozen, speechless for once. I'm staying with Tom, I say calmly. This relationship is over. You have 2 days to move out. As for the ring, I don't care what you do with it. Zipping my bag, I walk to the door, my steps heavy but purposeful. As I close the door behind me, the cold night air hits my face and I take a deep breath. For the first time in months, it feels like I can finally breathe. Whatever comes next, I know I've been true to myself. And in the end, isn't that what equality is really about?